Christ Beast Godcast. We are here at episode 3.
Episode 3, baby.
Episode 3. We are now in the month of October, recapping the month of September.
Yeah.
So, how you been?
I've been good. For those of you, I don't even care how you've been. Wait, how have you been? Hold on. How have you been?
I've been good.
You been good?
I've been good.
It's a weird month.
Yeah, I know.
We're going right into winter, which we're in Colorado, so we feel it here. Some
it
of
is
you,
officially fall.
yeah, some of you who are in like LA and stuff like that, I don't even know. It's probably still really hot, but not here. It's like getting cold now.
Yep.
But
But it's kind of good because it's like layer time, you know?
yeah. Oh yeah. I prefer
I love
the
my
cold
layer
over
time.
the hot. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I like wearing hoodies and jackets and stuff.
I know.
And in like
Layering up
you can't do that in the summer. But yeah, for those of you who are new to the Godcast, we pretty much talk about certain topics of the previous month. So we're in October now. We're talking about September releases. Yeah, did you want to plug anything in before we get started?
No, I did not.
Cool. Do you remember who we were gonna pick for the blow up artist?
I forget his name.
E.G.R. Remember him?
Yes, I remember him. I just forgot his name.
So we found E.G.R. This dude is pretty sick.
Yeah.
This dude's pretty sick, and he's like, I don't even know how many listeners he has per month, but it's like pretty low.
Yeah.
And his flow is really cool.
It's impressive. It really is.
Yeah, it's really sick. And he has like his newest album that just came out. What was it? Well, you're looking it up so you can see, but it was just some really cool lyrics and just they're super raw. Like they're just direct. It's not even like going metaphors or anything like that, really. It's like super direct. And you can easily understand the message he's trying to convey. So it's really cool.
Product of Grace, that's the album.
Product of Grace. And I think that's like my favorite
Dude,
song.
and it's crazy. He's got, on Spotify, this is Spotify, he's got 884 listeners. Yeah, monthly listeners.
What? 800?
Yeah, he doesn't even have 1,000 yet. But his flow is fire,
Yeah.
dude.
No, like, we have high hopes for this guy.
Yeah, this is definitely someone to be on.
Check out his newest album, Product
Mhm.
of Grace. If it doesn't resonate with you, I don't even know what to say.
Mhm.
Because when I heard that album, I was like, yeah, all right. Like, another Christian hip-hop artist added to the music I listen to. So, that's for Glow Up, Blow Up. That's who we chose. We're going to get into some releases. Cortez. He just announced that he is coming out with like a 7-track little short EP, and the song that he released in September was For the Best. What did you think about it?
I honestly can't even remember how that song goes.
Word. Well, that's like one of my favorite songs that he's come out with, other than Distance, which just recently released as well this year. But it's really, I think it's awesome because it really resonated with the whole theme of last month. And For the Best, it's literally just talking about everything that happens to us. It's for the best. Everything that happens to you.
Yeah.
And that's what he talks about in the song. It's like almost like he's in God's perspective and he's like, I know this isn't how you thought it'd go and how things would fall into place, but it's for the best. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, that's something that I feel like we all tend to forget a lot, you know? Sometimes, you know, you could be, you know, real low and you just kind of forget that, you know, you're there for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, for whatever reason that may be, you're there.
Well, it's like exactly.
But it's for the best.
So Mickey just preached the other day for the first time at church, and he was talking about almost this.
Yeah, no, exactly this.
This. And it was talking about Job and what he went through. And if you haven't read the book of Job, read the book of Job. It's crazy. You'll lose your mind. Because it's just insane what happens to this guy. But anyways, everything that happened to him, it happened for a reason, because he was being put through a trial. And in that trial, at the end of the result, he doubled up on everything he had. Everything.
Yep.
So that trial promoted him to another level of just of glory of God. And yeah, when I heard this song, I was like, this song is sick, because it talks about something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily Job and what he went through, obviously, but his own perspective on it. So that's Cortez for the best.
Dude, it sucks when you forget, though.
What?
That it's for the best.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know?
I know. It's because, we get so caught up in, like, everything that's happening around us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to see past the fog. It's hard to see past the current situation that you're in.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man. Like, you have to literally, like, sit down or, like, take a moment and just be like, okay, it's momentary. It's not...
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be like this forever, you know? Which is, it's hard unless someone like, hey, wake up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll just get stuck in that.
Kind of like Andy Mineo's release. Remember that one? The Arrow?
Mm-hmm. Or when he announced the Arrow.
Yeah.
Like what he was going through.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd hear that from him. It's just like, a lot of people say this all the time. When you relate to artists and stuff, you forget they're human.
Yeah,
you forget they have a vulnerable side too.
Yeah.
They're just like anybody else, you know?
I guess on that topic too, like with Social Club, their newest release too.
Doom?
Yeah. Which is sick.
Yeah.
I love this project.
What was your favorite song?
Dude, I don't even know, man. I really like Stones, and then I also really like what is it?
I like the Believe.
Yeah, Believe.
There was this lyric that he said in
Doom, I guess.
Doom is good.
Yeah, Stones and Doom. But I think for sure Stones is my favorite though.
Really?
Yeah.
Why'd you like that one so much?
Well, because it kind of ties back into what we were just talking about, like for the best almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kind of, not necessarily, but it's like there's a lyric in that one where Marty was like in the same situation that Andy was when he came out with the Arrow. And this whole album is reflects on that.
Yeah.
You know, because like we didn't hear from them for a while. You know, this was anticipated for me.
Yeah, I mean they came out with Mood, which was like a few songs in the EP,
mm-hmm.
and then they came out with Doom just now.
Yeah.
2 short EPs back to back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I was saying about the song though, there's a lyric in there where he says, "Where do leaders go to bleed?" You know, and that's like hard, dude. Yeah. Because like, I mean, like for us, dude, yeah. Like, you know, being leaders in a church and like, you know, not trying to show everybody that you're bleeding, you know, up there on the altar.
That's funny, dude. Yeah. Okay. That's like, we mentioned this pastor a lot, but the pastor in Kansas City, Harrigan, he said like a couple times where he was just like, the whole church doesn't even know what's going on with me.
Yeah.
And he's just like, but me and my wife, like, I'll sometimes battle so hard. I don't even want to go to church. I don't want to preach. I can't. I'm going there like dragging myself. Mm-hmm. But he's like, but as soon as I get on the altar, it changes. Something changes. He's just like, and I just feel like God's there. He's just like, he's like, but I don't, he's like, On the way there, nothing. At home, nothing. What am I gonna preach? I don't even know. Like, getting to the altar, then like all of a sudden, just like, okay, you know, and then God just does something.
Dude, that's how I felt this last Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like I was dragging myself up there, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you guys don't know this, but like right now, him and I are in charge of the church right now, and it is tough, man. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
And so like going up there this last Wednesday was kind of hard for me because I felt like I was dragging myself up there. But I mean, when I was up there, it completely changed.
Yeah. It's like when I told you, I was like, dude, I felt the Spirit. Like, I felt the Spirit when we played this one song. And he was just like, really? I felt the Spirit the whole time. I was like, oh, all right, well, whatever. Yeah, no. But, yeah, no. It's crazy how relatable these, like, you know, situations are presented before us. And in the music that we hear, we're like, oh, yeah, I can relate to that hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, which is why I really like this release from Social Club, because you know, a lot of leaders can relate to it.
Yeah, and there's like there's a whole side where, you know, you don't want to let everybody. It's just like what you said. Where do leaders go to bleed? You don't want to see it. You don't want to have everybody look at you bleed. You know, so it's like there's this sense like I need to be strong. I need to not show it. I need to, you know. Yeah. And that's the hardest part.
And he also says like, he's like sometimes he feels like just like putting himself away from everyone, but that's fine though, because Jesus often, he's in his lyrics he said Jesus often withdrew to reconnect with God.
I mean, you'd see him pray the whole night. Yeah That's wild. We're over here struggling with no, but my favorite song was Believe, and there was this part. They used to believe. There's this part where he says in his lyric, "You're probably laughing up in heaven. I was telling God to take the wheel, but I was giving him direction." Yeah. And I was like, dude, that is so like relatable. Yeah, dude. Because we all want to do our own thing.
Like, Jesus, take the wheel,
but we're trying to go to Chick-fil-A on the right. You know, it's just like, no, we're going over here. So when I heard that, I was like, yeah, that's a lot of us. Yeah, a lot of us, you know, we think, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that, all these things.
But God, take the wheel.
And you know, God, do your thing. And it's just like, God's just like, what? You just made a whole plan for your life when you didn't even like say anything. Now you want me to take the wheel? Oh man. And I think that's why God takes a lot of things from us, and then we're over here like crying, like, God, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? And he's like, hey, you told me to take the freaking wheel. You asked for it. Yeah. You told me to take the wheel. And then we're just crying about it. So, I don't know, man. It's just, you gotta let God take control. Bottom line. And I know we talked about Aaron Cole with his, what was it, Not By Chance album? I think it was, yeah. And he said that the advice he gave out to everybody else was talk to God about it. And it just always comes back to that. It always does. No matter what we talk about. It's like, talk to God about your plans that you have. Otherwise, how are you going to let him take the wheel? Yeah. Nah, I mean, a huge thing. Benny Hinn, the pastor, last month, the televangelist, renounces the prosperity gospel. He said, I don't want to get to heaven and be rebuked. I think it's time we say it how it is. The gospel is not for sale. And a lot of people, I think a lot of other pastors kind of got mad at him for saying that.
Because they want to sell.
Well, yeah, ultimately. It's like, whoa, Benny Hinn, like, you were pulling so much. You can't just back out like this now. Yeah. You know? And I think it's a huge thing, man. Because when you hear pastors and all these guest speakers or whatever, and they say, you know, give $1,000 for your miracle. it's like, whoa, come on. That is not what it's about, you know?
Yeah.
I understand if someone gets up and says, who wants to donate $1,000? Okay, sure. But there's no guarantee you're getting anything. Now, God says, what is it, in Malachi, in the book of Malachi, he says, try me, tithe, offer to me, and watch me open up the heavens for you. Watch me open up the floodgates for you. So it's your job, it's our job to tithe and offer according to how we feel before God. Not before Mickey, who stands up on the altar and says, hey, give $1,000 for your miracle today.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it should be.
Yeah.
So when he said this, I was super stoked. I was like, finally, yes, like, get rid of the prosperity gospel. It's our job to tithe and give. I'm not saying don't tithe and don't offer. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying let the Spirit kind of guide you in that. But don't be pressuring the people, saying they're gonna receive this.
Yeah, like I think as soon as I hear them start talking like that, I kind of get sketched out about them.
Yeah.
But I mean, and it doesn't even end there. Like, like false prophets can do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
With like their prophecies or whatever.
Yeah.
But
that's why, I mean, we just gotta stick to reading the Bible. It's so easy to mislead people who don't read the Bible. If we don't read the Bible and we go to a church that is completely not following what the Bible says, it's easy to be like, oh, here's $2,000. Now
there's that one Bible verse. That one Bible verse about that.
Misleading?
About
making his children stumble? What
we
were talking about the other day?
I think so. Or it was no. That hit God saying this, like, my children are lost because of
lack of knowledge?
Yeah.
Hosea 4:6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. Where, we'll probably put it up right here. But it says, like, yeah, my people perish for lack of knowledge. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't, we'll literally perish if we don't read the Bible, because that's what guides us. I know I talk to friends all the time who, non-Christian friends, and I've talked to them before. I'm like, hey, do you believe in God? And they're like, yeah, of course I believe in God. And I was like, do you read the Bible? Not really. I was like, well, how do you know God? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can you say that if you don't read? It's hard. And that's where it's our job to make sure we read so we don't get confused in what we believe in.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I got super stoked when Benny Hinn said that. Good job, Benny Hinn. Out of the 2 worship albums that came out, there was one that I really, really liked. It was Leland.
Yeah.
Leland's album.
I was just listening to that on the drive home.
Yeah, so out of the 2 worship albums that came out this year, this last month, in September, the one that I really liked was Leland's. Which I think was the Waymaker? No, Better Word album. Better Word.
Or Better World?
No. Better Word.
Better Word?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm just dyslexic again.
But that, if you guys haven't heard that album, man, you have to hear that album. That album, I think, is like, that might be my top. It's not even like, it's okay. Yeah, it actually almost is the end of the year. But throughout the whole year, out of like I'm not going to involve Spanish albums, but for like English albums, this album is my favorite so far.
Yeah?
Yeah. Worship album. So yeah, if you guys haven't checked it out, Leland, Better Word.
It was my first time hearing about him.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he was on Bethel.
And then he
left and then...
No,
he's not. He didn't leave. He's just like, he's part of Bethel.
Okay, so like like the band.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he started his own band.
I think it's
or side project.
It's like side project. It's like his own thing.
Okay.
Like he came out with "Lion and the Lamb," that song, and then it was featured in the Bethel album.
Mm.
So, like you see that a lot with like. Not really Hillsong, because you don't see a Joel Houston album. You know what I mean? But like with Bethel, you'll see like Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
Album, Corey Asbury. Album.
The other.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out.
Carrie Job.
Well, Carrie Job. Carrie Job's actually in the other album that I mentioned. You know how there was 2 albums? I said 2 albums. Leland's my favorite.
And the Breathing Co.
The Belonging Co.
The Belonging Co. The Breathing Co.
That's the second time I think I've heard you say that.
Yeah, I said that. I think I said that today.
The Belonging Co. And it's the company, I think. But yeah, the Belonging Co. You guys want some ice cream?
Yeah. Got the ice cream man coming through.
Yo. Get out. No, I'm okay.
Ruining the podcast.
Come on, man. Sponsor us now. Ice cream. Plugging him in. Yeah, so the other album was The Belonging Co.
Yeah.
And that's like Carrie Job, Natalie Grant. Mm-hmm. Like all these like artists within Christian music that are part of a church, I guess somewhere in the East, I think. But there was a huge one. I think we'll wrap it up with this. Kanye West leaving secular music.
Dude, and that is so cool.
Sticking to gospel.
That is so
what he
cool.
announced, or what he talked, I guess, to a barber. Mm-hmm. A barber then announced it, and he actually shared album art. We might put it up here, I'm not sure. But he showed, I think it was like Jesus is King or Jesus is First or something like that.
I didn't see it.
It was like this album art of the Kanye West album that's about to come out.
Yeah.
And it's just worship. But isn't that crazy?
Yeah, man.
It's wild to see.
Dude,
first like the Sunday services and all this stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, well, it was crazy because that's what the whole, like, that's why Christians hate Kanye, is before this whole thing, it was like, praise me, I'm Jesus, I'm this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was like, everybody was not trying to be...
I know, I thought he was Illuminati confirmed, to be honest. And I would not be surprised, like, I mean, God forbid it, but I would not be surprised if, like, they off him.
I really hope not.
I'm just saying, if he goes missing one day, or if, like, we hear some terrible news, something's up, dude.
Yeah.
Something's up.
Okay, I feel that.
There's no way that these guys are just gonna let that happen. Like, dude, he's been involved with so many, like, Illuminati conspiracies that, like, now that he's, like, switching directions, that, like...
It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
He's got to be freaking some people out.
So seeing him leave secular music like that, it's going to be wild. And sticking to worship gospel music. Gospel music out of everything is what it said. Mm-hmm. So it's like having that choir.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, dude. It's going to be a trip.
I'm excited to see what it is.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear it. So...
I can like Kanye again. See, I liked him when I was living in the secular world.
Yeah.
And then when I switched over to Christianity, I kind of stopped listening to him because then he became really weird about his music.
Well, it's like, you know, why are you listening to music that sometimes corrupts what you believe in?
Well, I mean, there's that, but then there's also the, you know, he got really weird with it.
Yeah.
You know, and by weird, I mean he got real, like he kind of made himself a god.
Yeah.
You know, a self-titled god.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by weird.
Yeah.
Well, and then you know,
God's working in him. Mm-hmm. If he just was like, all right, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
So
and I guess it was also kind of cool to see that Justin Bieber was also doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. God's also working with him.
Yeah.
Because I used to despise Justin Bieber with a passion. For no real reason.
Oh my god.
And this was back...
Yo, we'll cut this part out.
Well, this is back when he was like, just coming out. I guess he was still sounded like a little kid, and I guess that kind of bothered me. But I didn't really care that much. It wasn't until I heard that he was like a Christian and then left Christianity and then became and did all these things. Mm-hmm. Granted, this was during a time where I was like a Christian and was just like super judgmental.
Yeah, just
and
judging everybody.
Yeah. Oh man, and that's the worst, dude. I hate when people are like that. I hate that I used to be like that.
Yeah, a hypocritical Christian is like the worst. Yes. Judgmental. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
It's Anyway.
Not to poke at anybody. But
yeah. Kanye, Justin, I'm glad Jesus is working in your life.
Got mad love for you guys if you guys ever watch this thing. But yeah, so Kanye, we're gonna see what this is about. Mm-hmm. And when that comes out, I don't even know when that comes out. I think it's supposed to be like next month or something. Or this month of October. But
it's crazy. He went and moved to Cody, Wyoming.
Get this. So we're from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. That state where Kanye West went to go do his album. What album release party? What was it? What was the album? I think it's called Wyoming. I'm not even sure. I don't
know, but it's got the picture of the Tetons in it.
Yeah,
on it,
and like the neon sick green, writing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that town where they did that release party, album listing party, that's where we're from. So it was hilarious because we have a friend who's a rapper right now, and he lives in Phoenix, Arizona, mm-hmm. and he was just like, "Wow, I was trying to leave that place."
He worked so hard. I
worked so hard to get out of that place just for Kanye to come back to it and make it blow up.
Yeah.
So it's funny. It's funny because that's no one ever hears about this town ever unless you ski or snowboard. If you ski or snowboard, you're like, oh yeah, Jackson Hole. But if you don't, you're like, what the heck is Jackson Hole? Yeah. So it's just kind of funny. But I think that might be it for this podcast. The Godcast.
The Godcast.
Godcast episode 3, guys. So yeah, this is the third one. Next month we'll see you guys again. Later. All right.